Hey everyone, and welcome to Let Me Ask You This. I'm your host, Scott J. Carroll. Tonight, I am joined by the people that I call my friends, so I can ask them some more questions from our tome of knowledge. So, we've switched things up a little bit this week. Over here we have Alan and Christy, and on my right we have Claire and Lori. So, did you just thumbs down your friends?
No.
Our opponents.
Yes. We always have to make sure that Alan doesn't get too complacent with one. I don't know. Friend is too strong a word. Comrade is too,
See, and that's
Just
why...
trying to stave off the dementia. I know what you're doing. It's okay.
rake, maybe?
So then, let's get right into it tonight with some questions. We got a lot to get through, so we'll just start.
My brain is empty and I'm ready to go.
Perfect. That's pretty much how I face every day.
Excellent.
So my first question for everybody tonight is, where does it pay to know the most curse words?
Jeopardy?
You can't really say them on Jeopardy. Prison's interesting. Have you been?
No. Competitive Scrabble.
They actually don't allow them.
Boo.
But you're on the right track.
Pays to know the most curse words.
Pays to know the most curse words.
Crosswords?
I would say besides writing novels or following political careers.
So Claire was on the right track. It actually is a competitive thing that we're talking about.
So it's not crosswords.
There's a cussing contest.
It's not, if there were.
It's a professional toe stubbing league.
All right, that would just be any of the celebrity roast.
It is not that. It's actually, it is, the participants in this particular event are not allowed to curse. So the judges have to know curse words in multiple different languages. Many different languages.
That was a...
So are you ready for your fornication class? You have to be a judge.
No.
Yes.
Okay,
fabulous.
We are going to Wimbledon. For the Wimbledon tennis matches,
yes,
the players are not allowed to curse.
No, they're not. Lame.
And because they have players coming in from all over the world, the judges have to know curse words in every possible language that the players are coming in with.
So once again, are you ready for your fornication class? Here we go. Here are all the variations of how to say something you ain't supposed to say.
I knew that one, actually. I just didn't know that that's what you were asking. But yes, you're right, Wimbledon, you're not. And actually, the audience is not.
Yeah.
There is a decorum at Wimbledon for that.
For players, you can be fined up to $20,000 per violation.
And the spectators can be actually kicked off the grounds for any outburst in a match.
So if somebody like McEnroe has a bad time, he's going to lose.
He's going to have it in a stuttering fit as opposed to projection and elucidation of
And did you know too? They also get fined if they throw their racket down and it breaks. It's a larger fine than just throwing it down, which is why you'll see a lot of them throw it in the air and catch it.
That'd almost be a point of pride. Like, I threw it down the pro.
Is that part of their practice?
Just to throw it
Yeah,
out
but those rackets are probably not cheap.
Oh, no,
They're not.
They're
No.
not.
No.
That's why you never drop the mic.
Oh, don't ever drop the mic.
Don't ever drop the mic.
So, speaking of words,
Yeah.
there's a lot of words that we deal with every day, and sometimes I like to figure out where those came from. So I was wondering...
Usually your mouth.
-2. I was wondering, where does the word testify come from?
Oh, I actually know this.
Oh, yes, do you?
Yes.
Go on.
I could demonstrate.
No. I'm thinking.
You swore by your...
Testicles.
Yes.
Yes.
So my word would mean nothing in
Yep.
Well, we had a different torture for you, but you placed your hand someplace strategic, you raised your other one, and you promised horrible bad things to happen to you if you lied.
That is...
And that is how it became a testimony.
Yep.
Yes.
That is exactly correct.
I know the
Wow.
answer too.
Yeah, really.
You probably
we are
did
so
your
off the
librarian,
hook on
but
that
I was
one.
there.
Yes.
Okay.
The most common, if you were caught lying, was that they would be chopped off.
Yes.
Thus,
Again, we are so off.
In that case, yes, you guys would be. But we're still on words. We're still
so we
talking
can
about
always burn you
different,
with something. It was fine.
Words.
Yes,
Words.
Hamlet. We know.
Mm.
Take points.
I
We-
made something.
You
up
can't
on
give
the
yourself
fly.
points.
This is not that kind of game.
If you could tell me the act and scene, I would give you the points. Time's up. So,
Two. Act one. It's when anyway.
we are still talking about words. Now,
There's a lot of those.
and we see a lot of those words on Facebook. And
You know, you see very few words on Facebook.
I actually have not been on Facebook in about a
Vocabulary
year, and it's
is
been
not
wonderful.
Not
their
required.
not their strong point.
Yeah, no. It's no
No.
longer about posting your words.
But we'll-
it's posting.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But Facebook was infamous for people being unfriended. So, my question is, when do we think the first unfriending was?
Probably 10
Probably
minutes
so-
after
probably
they
someone-
found out what
I
they were
was gonna
doing.
say 10 minutes after it went live. I mean,
Maybe not even 10 minutes.
Actually, I think the unfriending happened before the network even got started. I mean, some of the guys didn't really like it.
I'm surprised nobody said Tom, but
Yeah, no, I didn't
I
know
couldn't-
I could say that.
I couldn't remember
But yes,
like what
the
it was,
unfriending
what his name
happened
was, what
right-
the default was.
Right after they created it and had some.
yeah, that was there, but that wasn't the first unfriending. We're actually looking at the first usage of the word unfriending.
Oh, the word unfriending, not the actual unfriending.
And for that, we have to go a little bit
France.
back in time.
I would say
I'm not
Victorian times.
No,
I'm sure Charles
Before that.
Dickens or
We are talking. The first usage of it was in the 1200s.
no, we didn't like somebody back then. Then either.
No, it was a word that was used to describe somebody who was no longer a friend. They were an unfriend.
Ah,
And
Vlad Tepes would make sure they got the point.
yes, very good. So that was used for a long time, and then it sort of fell out. In 1695, they actually found a letter that was written in 1695 by a man named Thomas Fuller, and he wrote to a friend of his. He said, "I hope, sir, that we are not mutually unfriended by this difference which hath happened betwixt us."
That should become like the new banner for Facebook. Just them trying to clean up their image. Please.
Do not mutually unfriend. But no, it's one of those weird things where here was a word that was around for a long time, fell out of use, and then we just sort of naturally brought it back in a similar definition, but it's not what it originally was. And I thought
I
that.
don't know. I think unfriend
No, I
pretty
think
much is
it's
self-explanatory.
pretty much the same
Yeah,
except now we can publish it faster and it gets, halfway around the world in seconds as
Yeah.
opposed to, needing a written letter.
True. Well, some words are fun, but I also do like some phrases. And there's a phrase that I've always enjoyed.
Multiple words.
Yes, we're getting harder. There was one word.
Carpe diem.
Now this phrase is actually 4 words, so prepare yourself. I know
Sacre
we're going advanced.
Carpe wordum.
Yes.
No, yourselves.
That's still 2 words, but
No, this phrase is going to be 4 words. The one that's on
Parfait
the card.
boredom is 2 words.
That's not a real phrase, and one of them isn't a real word. Anyway,
These people, I swear.
where do we get the phrase "mad as a hatter"?
Oh!
How do you think you lost all your hair?
Yes.
Alan, give someone else a chance. Christy.
If I got this one
I
right,
need this one.
You have to be
that
louder.
is a hatter.
Mm-hmm.
What's a-
Don't look at him.
It was something that they put into the hats whenever they would put them on your head when they were trying to shape out
Assert yourself, Lori.
the hat, like the hat maker.
You're in the right neighborhood. You're not at the right house.
Well, they're steam blocking the hat. They used mercury.
Mercury, yes. That's what I thought.
You
And they
became
would,
mad as a hatter because it ate your brain.
Yes, they
it would
did.
suck into the
However,
skin because they would have the hat on you, and that would be underneath. It
how
was
did
like the
they
band.
discover that mercury was helpful?
Oh, they had no idea. We were eating that stuff as immortal candy for thousands of years.
But then did they not put it
There
in
was
for the
Emperor of
thermos,
China.
the thingy for your tongue and you put
That
it in
was they did have those in there. But
Yes.
Yeah.
Lori, do you have any thoughts? Because you were also wanting to get in
No,
this.
I was on it, and then it's gone now. It's all right.
So, around 1830, hat makers were looking for ways to refine the felt in
Yes.
their hats and make them better. And they discovered that in Turkey, hat makers at the time were using camel urine. So in France, the hat makers said, okay, well, we don't have camels, but we have urine. So they began using their own urine in the process.
Not even going for like a horse, you just go straight for human.
That, well, France.
Are there different qualities to the pee? I must know.
Well,
We need a pee episode.
funny
No,
we
we don't.
mention that, Claire. They discovered that one particular hat maker in town, his felt was just better than everybody else's. Well,
He got his pee from the best alcoholics in town.
no, he
No.
was being treated for syphilis.
Yes.
And what was the treatment for syphilis at the time?
Mercury.
Mercury. So they worked out that, it must be the mercury, so they started adding mercury into the process of hat making. And mercury does,
Not great things to your
no,
noggin.
it does really bad things to your brain.
Or your STD.
Yep. Same thing, really.
So
Does mercury actually cure STDs?
it
or-
would kill anything it got on. So if you put it on the right spot, yeah. Didn't say it was fun.
There's a reason that we don't use it now. There's a reason it's all like, Mom, I scraped my knee. Get the mercury.
Yeah.
Takes a hammer to the thermometer. All right, little Timmy.
Yeah. No.
Breaks into the thermostat.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to think it was the cure to immortality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, have some more candy.
Well, it is
It was the cure to
Yeah,
immortality.
yeah, it was a cure. Yeah.
Words and phrases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually, us going crazy on mercury, does take us to the end of our first round, which brings us into the bluff round. Before the show, I gave everybody a card that has a question and the actual answer. I then asked them to write 2 additional fake answers to try to bluff the other team. Since you're ready, Christy,
No, not really. I
why don't you go
just
ahead?
pulled it out.
go
More
ahead. Go
ready.
ahead.
You whipped it out. Do it. Go for it.
Okay. So, how many time zones does Russia have? 11, 12, or 8?
I know geography very good.
Yeah,
But-
I know geography very good also, but that doesn't seem. I don't like any of those numbers.
Well, one of them is obviously true.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't like any of them.
Because
I
I'm,
really
trying,
like how
I'm trying
this
to
has
mentally
become
compare it to
geography.
how many the
Mhm.
U.S.
Yes.
has. And but how big is Russia in comparison to the
Well,
U.S.? I
the
don't
U.S.
know.
has 4 technically. Well, I mean, unless you count Hawaii, and
Yeah.
that's a whole.
We'll say continental because that's kind of what we're
continental.
comparing.
Yes. So continental U.S. has 4.
Yeah.
There's 4. So Russia.
Is there a grenade involved in this?
No.
We're all gonna die.
There's not, but there is a time limit, which
Okay.
is slowly ticking down.
But also, here's the thing: every time we've overthought it, we've been wrong.
Right.
So, what does your gut tell you?
That
Your
was
gut
the
is
wrong
very
thing
quiet.
to ask Lori.
My gut. I'm torn between 8 and 12.
My gut is kind of telling me 8 because I'm like,
8.
I don't think it's.
I don't feel. Yeah.
All
I don't.
Okay,
I'm trying to
no
mentally.
more of this. No
I'm,
more.
This is
I'm trying to
12,
mentally put the United States inside Russia,
What do-
which I'm sure Russia would love. But
What do we think?
We're gonna go with 8. I think 8. 8's.
It's 11.
It's 11.
interesting.
Of course it is. Why? Because I didn't like. Never mind.
Because you didn't like, because you like the other 2 numbers.
I like the other 2
Well,
numbers.
there you go.
If you added in Hawaii, multiplied it by 2, and just added the 1, you would have had it.
That's like one of the conspiracy theories. Like, you can take a picture of the moon and draw 3 lines and add 7.
Exactly.
So,
But have you seen the recent footage of the thing hitting the moon and sparking?
Lori, read your question.
The footage was better.
I wonder what his answers were.
Who was the first author to use a typewriter to write a manuscript? Edgar Allan Poe, Mark Twain, Edgar Rice Burroughs.
All right. Well, Edgar Rice Burroughs was way too late. Typewriters have been
Yes.
around a long time.
And I thought it was Poe right before you even said any of them.
So that leaves Poe and Samuel Clemens, but I know that Samuel Clemens wrote everything up by hand.
Yeah, he wrote it by hand. It's fine.
Therefore,
It has
it
to
must
be
be
Poe.
old Edgar.
Yeah, I remember it being Edgar Allan Poe.
Nevermore.
Okay. According to my card, it is Mr. Clemens.
He might have done one at the very end.
Wow. I thought it was Poe.
It was Mark Twain.
It was Mark
It
Twain,
was.
right at the very, very end. He might have done one at the very end.
Innovates at the end out of pure spite.
There you
That's
go.
a very Mark Twain thing to
Right?
do.
And it would have been a letter to the local school board. And it would have experienced most of those cuss words you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the ones that at least the key's probably stuck on a couple of them.
Yes, his finest quote was, basically, ladies and gentlemen, please imagine yourselves as an idiot and member of Congress, but I may be repeating myself. So,
Yes, Alan.
welcome to Samuel. Alrighty. What year was Barbie released? What year did Barbie grace our presence? 1959, 1949, or 1962?
Barbie has been,
Barbie's been around.
yes.
Barbie's been around.
Surprisingly, her and
1959?
Ken have had a
1949 or
relationship.
1962?
probably the most successful marriage in our history of.
They're not married.
I think they were.
No.
They were boyfriend, girlfriend.
Right. But
They did have like a tuxedo, Ken.
Right. See, that's what I thought. That
But-
they
No.
I'm
got.
going
for
to
the
say
prom.
1959.
I'm thinking that too, because
What are we going with?
1959.
They get a point.
Yes, that is correct. And bonus points to anyone who knows the full name of Barbie.
Barbie was a direct ripoff of a Swedish toy. I knew that, but I don't remember the kid's name.
Barbara.
Barbaruska Rulafinder. And all of the Nordic lands unsubscribed.
Barbara Streisand.
No.
No, it's not Barbara Streisand.
It's not Baba Wawas either.
Barbarella. Oh,
It's
wait, no, that was
Barbara
Edward
Millicent
Jenner.
Roberts.
Oh.
There we go. All right, Claire, that takes us to you. Bring it
It's
home.
upside down again. I'm cursed.
Every time.
I'm gonna start making a mark. All right. Who was the youngest Oscar winner of all time? Was it Anna Paquin? I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I could never remember. Tatum O'Neal or Haley Joel Osment?
That was Tatum.
Does your teammate?
I don't know. I'm going to look at her and go, I thought it was Tatum O'Neal because she was
I mean,
like 4 when
yeah,
she won an
'cause-
Oscar.
Yeah, because I was going to say the only other one was.
I see dead people.
But I'm pretty sure somebody before him had. So yes.
You are correct.
And for what movie was it?
With her dad,
Mm-hmm.
with Ryan. They were running around selling fake Bibles to people.
Yes, they were. And it's an amazing movie. It's a wonderful
And
movie.
I can tell you the car they were driving,
Yes,
the
you can.
license plate, and how they imprinted
No.
the Bibles. And I cannot remember the name of that dadgum movie.
It was Paper Moon.
Okay.
Paper Moon.
Yes,
There
it
it
was
is.
Paper Moon. I love it's one of my favorite movies. I love that
It was
movie.
an amazing movie.
Yeah.
The kid outacted everybody in the picture.
Yeah, she did.
She tore them up.
And there's some great behind the scenes footage if you look up old trailers of it, of Ryan and Tatum just busting up between scenes. It's great.
Yeah, because you knew which one was the parent, and it wasn't the old guy.
Add that one to your list.
Yes, if you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen Paper Moon, you really have to.
Yeah. But we do have to bring it back to our show.
Okay,
Okay.
And that does take us to the end of our bluff round,
back to
which
this planet.
brings us to our third and final round of the night.
Yay.
And these questions are fun.
Long.
So, but the answers are long. But
Oh.
don't look at the cards.
I can't see
I
that
know.
far.
I know.
That's why he puts me down here.
It's like,
So,
I'm blind as a mole. Your stuff is safe with me.
once they took all the mercury out, what hat was designed to keep you safe?
The variety of hats, most of them cowboy hats.
Safe from what?
You know, you can actually talk. They're not going to steal.
Safe from what is the big question, I think, because that covers
well,
a lot
I
of
mean,
territory.
well,
Safe from sun.
Specifically-
no,
safe
the plague
from
was
pests.
the plague was before,
Okay.
so we're not talking about the snoot.
This has to do with a type of travel. these hats that were designed in particular for this?
Well, it's after Mercury, so we're about.
So we're
Oh,
approaching
they started making hats for motorized vehicles.
You're a little late.
They started making the caps and stuff, but they also were doing dirigibles.
So the hat that was designed to keep people safe was the bowler hat. It was designed by Thomas William Bowler in London, mainly for horse riders to keep branches from hitting their heads as they were going through.
I don't know if that quite
But at
qualifies
the
as
same
safe
time,
because
we're
if you
getting
fall
cowboy
off.
hats over here, so I'm going to.
Well, what's interesting is the bowler hat does predate the cowboy hat. And most traditional people who were out in the West were wearing bowlers, not
Oh,
what we
okay.
think of as
Cowboy.
cowboy
until
hats.
you actually hit a branch and it put a dent in it, and then you had a cowboy hat.
Yeah, they didn't have a block to
Okay,
fix
just,
that out
just
there.
letting you know.
I know. I know you're going to worm your way to being some kind of correct as we're going
So
through.
is that why the cowboy hats have the really big rim? So when you're riding, if it hits a tree first, you get be able to duck.
It's
And,
part that,
and
part
the water
sun,
runs off,
part-
and
Oh, okay.
yeah.
buzzards don't land on you, and
Very
Okay.
multi-use.
Yeah, the
Yes.
cowboy hat
Okay.
and its evolution, the fedora, are really useful hats. And I mean a fedora, not a trilby. I will fight you. Those are really useful. But we'll move on from that.
yeah, the bowler was a pretty cool hat.
Yeah.
It made a really great painting.
So,
All right, Thomas Crown.
since we are back in time a little bit,
Yay, he set the Wayback Machine.
let's talk about philosophy.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
So, according to
What about
Spelling?
Schrodinger's cat again? What?
17
Not cakes.
Schrodinger's dinner. Did he or did he not eat?
according to a 17th century philosopher named John Evelyn, what 3 subjects should a gentleman be able to discuss and argue?
A speed reading contest?
No.
Evelyn's speed
Okay.
reading.
So
3 people got that joke.
yes.
And they were all old because you said back in time.
I did.
All right, the 3 things a gentleman should
A
be
gentleman
able
should be able to discuss or argue.
Economics, philosophy, and religion.
Sure.
Like
go for
argue
it.
politely or
Or shoot somebody. Because politics, everybody starts shooting. So,
Yeah.
So remember, this is one of my questions. So it's not going to be a simple answer
No.
like that.
food, pork fat,
Food
price
is not
of tea in
involved.
China.
No. So
So it has to do with like the philosophy of life or the
Well,
ways of it. So
one of the
I would think
things-
things like you're talking on like theories and
theories, you're
Yeah.
heading down the right road.
so
the amount of cocaine you
my
can give to an
my
elephant.
hunch is on the philosopher's side,
No, it's bear.
you would need to be able to argue well things like the Cartesian theater. You would need to be able to understand Plato and his Republic.
I understand
You would
Plato
need
very
to-
well. It's tasty.
So here's the thing, Christy. You're a smart person. People who say they're smart people are not smart people. So things that John Evelyn here was saying that you should discuss.
Oh, so like being able to shoot somebody or protect someone.
That's still morally.
What kind of food is tasty?
So one of the things he said was, you need to be able to discuss and argue where the areas of habitation will be on the moon. Who would be the first scientist to discover the Philosopher's Stone?
I talked about the philosopher's stone.
You were getting there, yeah.
Did.
And how to create a carriage to convey a man to the stars.
So he just
Basically
really
astronomy.
wanted to be a spaceman.
Every gentleman should be able to argue those things,
Astronomy.
according to
When was
to John
this
Evelyn.
year?
17th century.
Yeah, the age of discovery.
Well, I
would
know
have
because
been-
they thought there were freaking carnivals on the moon.
No, I mean, no, that actually
Not
makes
yet
a lot
there
of sense.
aren't.
You had no,
But we need to fix that, America.
Give Elon a minute. He'll
Yes.
get done.
Carnivals on the moon!
I don't want Elon to get into that one. Let somebody else do it.
But yes, the astrolabe was a big.
Around the same time, we had the
Yeah,
Hollow Earth
so
theory
astronomy and all
and all
that.
of that. All the things that we look at now and go, isn't that quaintly insane?
And we now have a society that promotes it.
Yes.
And they have members all around the globe.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, hey, we're trying to get to Mars already with things.
So, actually speaking of space, that does take us to the next question here.
Oh no.
Oh wow, that would totally discount them
The
though.
planet
Because if we
was
go to
round.
Mars, then we can look back at the Earth and see that it's round and not flat.
We can already
It's
do
a
that
circle.
from the moon, and it
But
doesn't.
that's fake.
Oh, duh.
It's not a globe, Dupus. It's a flat circle.
Anyway, we're going to space.
Giant coin being flipped. Go ahead.
Into the space jam.
Why
Oh, sorry.
do we have a 10-second countdown at NASA launches?
Oh no, they started counting 2 days before.
They do. Yeah.
Why is the big thing the 10-second countdown?
Because that's the max
Because the
attention
2 days
span of
before was
most of the
just boring.
watchers.
Because that's when they fire the engines.
No, the engines are fired long before 10 seconds.
So the
Warming
the
up.
reason we have a 10-second countdown, we actually have to think about cinema and movies. We have to think about the Germans,
Of course.
and one of the best German expressionist directors of all time.
The
Really?
Doomsday Clock.
Fritz Lang. So Fritz Lang directed the movie
I'm
Woman
waiting on
in the Moon.
Metropolis. Okay.
Yeah. He directed the movie Woman in the Moon. And
Yeah.
in that, there was a rocket ship that blasted off.
Yes.
To build tension, he put in a 10-second countdown. And it would cut between the title card with the number and the action, the title card and the action. Because it built tension and it grabbed people's attention and put a sense of wonder to what was happening, NASA decided to use that for the final moment at the rocket launches.
Oh.
So we have...
Sci-fi keeps putting science forward.
Yep.
There you go. Okay.
But that does bring us to our final question of the night,
Miso did not win this one.
which
Not with that
Do
attitude.
we need to start counting down?
no. Although,
Why do your assassination attempts keep failing? Oh, crud.
so we are still talking about space in this last question.
That stuff between my ears?
Yes.
Yes.
Easily.
What airline?
It's bigger on the inside.
What airline accepted reservations to send passengers to space?
Virgin.
No, it wasn't Virgin. I think actually this was.
I thought Richard Ransom was the first one to
He
start.
was not.
He was not?
He was not.
He sure acted like he was.
Let's get confidence.
Yeah.
It's not United.
Okay.
I will say it is an airline.
You want to book a trip on
Is-
a
is it-
Vomit Comet?
Is it like a weirdly regional airline?
No.
No, that'd be great if it were like Alaska 7. No.
I actually read some articles recently about a lot of the airlines. I was
It
personally
is-
surprised about one in particular that did a list about how on time they were, and the very first one was actually from Japan. The Japanese airline was number one
surprised
for
me.
being on time.
It's not a Japanese airline.
No, I
It is
didn't
an
think it was.
airline that no longer exists,
Eastern's
which
still-
doesn't really narrow it down because
Yeah, Eastern's gone.
I was to say, you narrowed it right down to a couple of hundred.
Yeah,
TWA is gone.
yes, that one is gone.
The main one I remember being gone.
Yeah.
Northwest Air is gone.
Yeah. Okay, we're not just gonna sit here and go, well, I remember when that one
Are
was
any of the
there."
directions left?
So
Southwest.
it was
Yeah.
Southwest is the
Confused.
Alpha.
it was Pan Am.
Oh my gosh! Damn, I remember that one.
So
I remember
what?
all those flights that kept dying. I mean, crashing.
Yes, that's
So
why
we'll
That's
take
why
this.
they're not here
Yes.
anymore.
They couldn't get to Colorado, much less the moon.
Yeah.
They just didn't go straight up. So
Uh,
in 1964, an Austrian journalist named Gerhard Pistor went to a Vienna travel agent and he demanded a trip to the moon.
Sure.
They didn't really know what to do, so everyone just kind of kept doing that. I need to call my supervisor. I need to call my supervisor, and eventually made its way up to then CEO of Pan Am, a guy named Juan Tripp. Yep. Yep.
Can't
Take
do
a,
much better than that.
just take a bow. You're
Yep.
done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Good
We're,
night,
we're
everybody.
finished.
One
There you
trip.
go.
There you go.
He
Oh, one trip. Okay, gotcha.
he took
That
a
was
deposit
bullshit.
of
Doesn't matter. Both worked.
yeah. He took a deposit of 500 Austrian shillings, and then went, you know. And then they started actually advertising and taking reservations. If you look online, you can actually find the tickets that have your reservation to space, and it's got like a person and like a kid in a spacesuit walking on the moon, and it's like Pan Am will take you to the stars. All told, He took over 93,000 reservations for people to go to space.
I mean, people have paid for dumber things on the internet in the last 20 minutes. Let's be real.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can't help.
But that back then, that was kind of novel.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was also a chunk of change.
That was also a serious chunk of change. But again, people on the internet now will go fund me and they'll.
Don't say it.
Walk away from the real data.
Fund the
Yes.
carnival on the moon.
Yes, if anything, that's what that's the lesson I want you to take away from the show tonight. Fund the carnival on the
We can do
moon.
that.
How about we
Hey,
look at
do
everybody and go
Graphics.
like
We
and
got a
subscribe?
graphics person. We can do graphics on the
Yeah.
moon.
Let
and-
capitalism work for
I
us.
told
darn
you,
it.
I'm going to have a little werewolf puppet, and his YouTube channel is going to be called Like and Subscribe.
Well, there you go.
So,
I think I already have that.
Don't give away your
You
good
might.
jokes.
darn it. So that does take us to the end of our show tonight.
Thank goodness.
So we do have to pick a winner, and shockingly, I'm being told that tonight is a tie. So, with that,
Sure.
sure, we're
We'll
going to go with
take
that. We hope you guys had fun tonight.
We're all winners.
Wonder Twins.
We hope you guys had fun tonight. On behalf of my panel and everyone here at the show, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time, and until then, let me ask you this.